Alright, hello and welcome to Q&A number 3. We're going to be looking at some Blood Bowl, we're going to be looking at some Total War, I think, and we're going to be looking at some silly words that people want me to say, so that's where we're going to start. I'm going to do this in one take, but I'm going to do the Blood Bowl stuff with Blood Bowl in the background, and I'm going to do the silly stuff with this in the background, and go from there. So, here we go. Question number 1. How do you say hangakoauauauotamatea when like that, but with usually a smug smile when you say it in one go. And then Squiggy asked after D-Man, that was a question from D-Man, thank you D-Man. And then Squiggy asked after that, forget that, that's easy, how do you say Taumatawhakatangi hangakoauauauotamatea turipukakapikimaunga horonukupokaiwhen uakitanatahu, like that. Happy? Now, can we go on to Blood Bowl? Yes, we can? Fantastic. Good. Let's go on then. Actually, just before we move on, and I am going to have to move rooms in a second as well, just so you know. Google Translate cannot help you with these words. The Google Translation is pretty funny, to be honest, how badly they pronounce these two words, but it can't help. However, Google Translate is great fun when you want to do something like this.
An old car starts in winter.
Anyway, moving on. Alright, let's have a look at what madness you've got for me today then. This is madness! This is clawpomb. No, I'm not gonna go there. Okay, so where are the questions actually? They're here. Right, so we've got a lot from Squee, we've got one from Full Metal, from Saimar, from D-Man. There's quite a few actually. There aren't that many. We're missing a few this week. It's going to be quite short, but I'll fill in the gaps with some extra stuff, I guess. So let's start with D-Man then. If you were one of the current players in Blood Bowl, which one do you think you would be? Okay, if it's the question of which I would like to be, that'd be a little bit different to which I think I actually would be. Which I think I would be, I'd be a dirty peasant. That's what I'd be, and I would definitely die. If it was a case of what I would like to be, if I had the choice of anything, then I guess I'd choose a Saurus, because they have the longest lifespan. Yeah, some kind of line orc maybe, or black orc. Basically something that's less likely to get punched too often and actually feel the full effect of being punched. Cue a highlight reel of Sauruses and linemen and black orcs dying. But no, I think that's a realistic thing. Though yeah, if I was completely honest, then definitely I'm a peasant. Yeah, and I'd probably be the first one to get punched and knocked out, so that'd be me. Having said that though, I used to be a rugby player, so I'm not that pathetic, but in the world of Blood Bowl, that's something else. I don't know. I'm actually a winger in rugby though, which means I'm the quick guy on the corner who runs away and does things with the ball, so I guess I'm an elf. Oh dear, I'm an elf, I need to rethink my whole life. Okay, done. Right, moving on. So, next question. 2. Brutally honest view of the original campaign, not the Eternal League. I didn't actually think it was that bad, honestly. I mean, if you're somebody who's first coming into the game and you have no idea what you're doing, the first few missions are quite good, and the storyline was quite funny, actually. It got ridiculously silly, ridiculously quickly, and it's really easy to play, not to mention that the other teams are built so stupidly. Sorry about the light on my face, I can't do much about it with the angle. It's kind of annoying me, that's why I keep doing this, but there we go. Let's get nice and shiny. Anyway, when it comes to the campaign, yeah, I don't think it was that bad, actually. And I really enjoyed the dwarf matchup with the gyrocopter falling in. It was really good for teaching how to push things off the pitch. You got a much bigger area for pushing off the pitch, but it was very good for teaching the discipline of doing so. And the Dark Elf, where you had to get the witches specifically, again, it helped with basic push play. That's what the campaign is basically good for. Like the challenges now, actually, they both work in the same way. Though, of course, you finish it pretty quickly, and then you go into the real thing and you realize that the game is much harder than the campaign. But No, I don't think it was as bad as a lot of people say. And another one from D-Man, less serious, or more maybe. As someone who has recently gotten past this stage of life, what is the most important piece of dating advice you would give someone? Kill a Noblar and give it to her. No. Well, communication. If there's a problem, talk about it. If there's something going good, talk about it. If there's something to talk about it. That's my main advice. There's actually this thing that happens online all the time that really annoys me when people post a thread saying, what does it mean if guy does this or if girl does this? And my response is always, why don't you fucking ask her? Or ask him. And that's it, basically. Moving on. Grey Fox, how do you manage to keep your cool managing this many leagues? I don't. Really important for me. No, I make a point of joining leagues when other leagues are finishing, so at the very most, I've only got a week or 2 weeks where I have a crazy amount of games. And I'm pretty good at arranging matches early and being relatively flexible for other coaches, so I can manage these leagues pretty sensibly. If you mean as an admin, yeah, it gets harder, especially on Sunday nights now because I start early on Mondays, so I can't help the board as much as I would like. But I do it usually in the office on Monday. I roll the rounds, and running my own at the moment doesn't require too much work, so I don't know. I have a couple of elves that help me as well, or goblins. I should call you goblins, I guess. Elves is actually an insult in this community. I have a couple of goblins that actually run around helping me in the AD English Invitational League, and of course I'm one of a team in the ICBBL. If we're just talking about games, then I don't know, playing a game isn't so hard. You just arrange a time and play it. You find time. I always manage to find time. And moving on to Squiggy then. If you could add one more skill to the game and remove one skill from the game, would you do so? No. And if so, which and why? Okay, let's assume that I have to instead. That might be easier. Let's have a look at the skills. Let's get a team up that can get pretty much every single skill. In terms of adding the skill, actually, it's more of an enhancement to a skill, but what I would do, if a stunty piece is served, I would give them a 6+ chance to return to the pitch after being served. They're kind of like they jump out of the pitch, they grab onto the crowd, and then they jump back in. It's just a little bit of fun fluff more than anything. But I can see it being a little bit overpowered. But it's something that I would maybe add. Underwater pretty good for everything, actually. So... 10 or red. Oh, I know. What am I doing? That'll do. Custom team, yeah, fine. And go. There we go. Right, so if we have a look at skills when we're at it, take a Warpstone Troll, for example. By Mr. Troll. Hello, Troll. Confirm. Reroll for some reason, even though I'm just doing it for the Troll specifically. And let's have a look at Mr. Troll. Okay, so what would I remove and what would I add? If I had to remove a skill, I've never really thought about it before. It's a bit of a difficult one. I would potentially remove. To be honest, I'd potentially remove the stat ups in general. That it's just not an option. That you have the piece that you have, and then you have to give them things based on skills alone, because they're made the stats that they are in general. I'd maybe remove Sneaky Git as well, just because people don't tend to use it. It's actually underestimated, I think. It's really good for if, for example, you want to foul a tree just for the fun of it, because you know, you roll a 6/6, the tree is gone, or you roll anything else and nothing happens, guaranteed, pretty much. So there is that. So I'd maybe remove that just because it's kind of a useless skill. Though I don't think there's really anything else that I would actually remove. I could say remove block just for fun, but no, realistically, okay, so I'd probably remove all stat ups. That would be the one thing that I would remove. And the thing that I would add would be that stunties can have a 1 in 6 chance to get back onto the pitch, and I don't want to keep this team, so let's delete them, so I don't forget about them later. Okie doke, next question. If you could only play one race or team for the rest of your Blood Bowl career, which would it be and why? If it was the race, I think I would choose something like Chaos, just because you can build it in many different ways, so there is at least a little bit of variety. Though, if we're talking about simply the race that, you know, I kind of prefer to play the most, then I would probably take an Amazon team and keep them going. If we're talking about a team, though, of course, the team would be the Stumblers. If I could only play one team, and one team for all time, it would definitely be the Stumblers. These crazy little zombie and skeleton godlike creatures that somehow make Blood Bowl worth playing. Okay, next question, also Squiggy. Why are so many Russian players clawpomb chaos? Good question. Why are they? Well, I guess потому что кровь делает боги крови. Or to translate it roughly, it's a bad translation to be fair, I made it up off the top of my head. Blood for the blood god. Because blood for the blood god. Anyway, no, I don't know why Russians do decide to play basically teams that are more murdery. Though to be honest, in my experience they don't. This is the thing that really surprised me. I've met quite a few Russian players in CCL over the time and they've been fine. I've had many people say when they've found me on Steam that, you know, I'm a Russian player who doesn't play murdery and doesn't foul all the time, but I'm not Russian. I just live here. And foul and murder. Very rarely. At least in game. But no, I watch a guy in Rebel all the time as well, which is the main Russian Blood Bowl league. And no, the league is pretty variable. It's not all murder and fouling. It's they do have quite a few good players as well. I've actually considered joining the Rebel for a bit, because not all Russian players are crazy, for certain. But they do all hack your mouse. And if you could amend or add a rule to the game, what would it be and why? Yeah. I don't think I would. I'm actually quite happy with the rules as they are, which is a rare thing to say, I think. But no, honestly, I think that most of the rules that have been put into the tabletop, they don't have a place in the computer game. And I guess you could make the same argument for the stunties coming back onto the pitch, but no. Most of the things I would change are bug related at the moment, I guess, at least in the Blood Bowl 2 game. I'm going to have to try and move because I have the sun in my eyes and it must be really frustrating to just watch me shine. Is it better there? No. There? No, it's not better anyway. Fine. Okay, so I'm shiny. Tough. Right. So yeah, I don't think I would actually change the rule. No. I wouldn't. So, back to D-Man. What is the most memorable play you have made? The one that was against Guinness in CCL, where I was playing the pet collection, and the white did a fantastic pass to the... No, sorry, the werewolf did a fantastic pass to the white, both of them in tackle zones, and the white dodged out to score, or vice versa. I don't remember who did the passing. It's actually in my, I'll link it below. It's in the What You Mean They Can't Pass video. It's one of them. It's the one that's really long, and I score off the back of it. That's my most memorable play ever. The other one actually was the first time I ever played Fallen Glory. I did something similar with two skeletons, where it was a long bomb pass and Specimen scored. That's why Fallen Glory hates Specimen, actually. So yeah, there's that play as well. Okay, Full Metal. Blood Bowl has a high barrier for entry, and as we all know, the current tutorial campaign is utterly shite at teaching new coaches the game. I disagree, and I kind of explained why, but it's limited for certain. What could Cyanide do instead, short of an in-game link to the Rebel, which we did ask for? To be honest, in-game links to the Rebel Rookie League, to our Rookie League, to all of the Rookie Leagues basically is a fantastic idea. That is the best way to do it. The only way you can really learn this game is by playing with people and getting somebody to sit down and just tell you what you're doing wrong. Maybe also linking to some of the more well-known content creators who create newbie-friendly content, like Knorr, for example. You can make an argument for myself, even Trunkhead in your community. I know that Trunkhead and I often bump heads, but you know, his material is fine, so no problem there. It's basically things like this, linking to articles, linking to videos that we can watch, and trying to implement some of these things like they have done in the challenges. More challenges would really help, actually. Just some very basic challenges, some intermediate challenges, and some advanced challenges based on the things that are in Blood Bowl Tactics and that we talk about in our content. If they did this for about, I don't know, 50, 60 different challenges, it would be a more interesting tutorial than the campaign, I think. Though the best way to learn, to be honest, is just to play, to fail, to find out why you're failing, and then try and fix it. Okay, on to Saima. How confident are you into the 10 game... Sorry, going into... How confident are you going into the 10 games human team? And how do you like playing as the human team in general? I don't mind humans. Humans are fine. Humans can realistically do lots of different things, so I do like to play them. I have a very solid... I have a very strong emphasis on passing in a human team, though, which is maybe a slight downfall. Sometimes it really works, though. I should really do it less against elves, though, as my first 2 games, as the first 10 games has proven. I should pass less against elves. But it's me, I pass. Having said that, I feel pretty confident that I know how to build a team, and I feel pretty confident that I understand tactically how to use the team. Even if the results don't necessarily come, I can still show something during these videos, so I'm quite happy with it. The only race I'm not going to be looking forward to are the different flavors of elf, the wood elves and the elven union especially, but also the high elves to an extent. But yeah, I may also switch to playing in the CCL just because I'm not going to play against the coach. I'm going to play, you know, a more strategic playstyle than playing, knowing, for example, oh look, it's undo, I know he's going to do this, so I have to do this. And it may be more useful. But at the moment, with the humans, at least I am going to go for 10 coaches, all in AD English Invitational. And I may keep doing it, I may not, we'll see. But I'm trying to pick coaches that are a challenge to play against, even, and that I can't necessarily say, it's this coach, so I'll do this. I think I kind of went off the point of the question, but I answered it at the same time, so okay. And what makes you dislike the Pro Elves while not minding the High Elves? Must be the lack of hats, right? Well, yeah, it is actually partly the design, to be honest. I feel that the Pro Elves look like anime rejects. That's why my Pro Elf team is called the Anime Rejects. And let's find them. There we go. Anime wannabes, there we go. So that is my Pro Elf team, my Elven Union team. I think the reason I don't like them is because the High Elves are more sturdy. They can take a punch, they can give a punch, and... well, in general, they're just... I think they're more versatile than the Elven Union. Elven Union really need to rely on getting away with bullshit, whereas High Elves can play a more gentle, walk your way up to the line game. My face is white. Fantastic. Anyway. I should have just given up on the face cam for this one, I think. But oh well. And then we have the 2 names that I started with. Fine. And... I think that's it for Blood Bowl. That's it for Blood Bowl this week. You've run out of ideas. Oh no. So yeah, not too many questions this week, but that's fine. I will have a quick look at some Total War stuff that has been asked in general and some Mordheim stuff that has been asked in general, but I will end the Blood Bowl section here. Thank you very much for the questions. Any further questions that you do have, please put them in the Q&A, and we'll carry on with Total War and Mordheim after a quick break because I need to switch the games over. Okay, I think this is the least shiny I can make my face. Still shiny. I kind of feel like, you know, I'm a Scotsman in a war, one of the clansmen, but I'm not blue. My t-shirt is blue and my face is white. I'm doing it the wrong way around. Everybody else around me is laughing at me because of it. Anyway, so some questions from Total War Warhammer. They weren't posted in the Q&A section, but I have been asked them in the past, so... and I do get asked them in PM sometimes because people talk to me more about Total War in PM than on the channel. Unfortunately. I mean, talk to me on the channel, man. It's there for that as well. I have been doing it. So one of the questions was, who is your favourite Legendary Lord? And I have a couple. I am a big fan of Khazrak, especially considering his fluff more than anything to do with the actual character himself. But, you know, he is driven by this need to get the Lord of Midland back and take his eye. And he was also one of the first Legendary Lords I ever bought on tabletop, so I like him for that reason as well. And he's one of my favourites. The other one, of course, is Grimgor, mostly because his lines are just freaking epic, but also he's always been one of my favorites on the tabletop as well, with classics such as Say My Name, and other such things. But I like Grimgor in general, and he's by far the best in the story. And other than that, I don't really like the new Norska legendary lords too much. I do like Manfred, but it's more an aesthetic thing than any other reason. I don't like Manfred as a character so much. I just like him as a piece, and in general he's pretty freaking awesome. Another question was, what is one of your favorite units in game? And that's a lot harder. My favorite, let's turn this down, it's too loud. My favorite in general of all time tabletop and everything has always been Wolf Riders. I just love Wolf Riders. They are so awesome. And I think I mentioned this in one of the videos, but there's a online card game that I play occasionally. I've played it in a while actually. I don't even remember what it's called. I'm gonna have to try and figure that out because I'm kind of plugging it while not plugging it here. Where they have one of the cards that is a goblin rider, and the wolf is the rider and the goblin is the steed, and it's a really funny card, and I love that as well. So I am a big fan of Wolf Riders in general. Love me some Wolf Riders, but my favorite in the game is quite a weird one. I really like the missile infantry in the Beastman team. I just like the fact they have Stalk and that they also have Vanguard deployment, and you can put them in a really awkward position and cause your enemy all kinds of problems before your enemy even knows where you are. And other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I particularly like. There's quite a lot on the vampire counts actually. I like everything undead. It's the same in Blood Bowl. Really like some zombies, really like me some skeletons. Skeletons or spears even better. And you know, just generally everything. And the Graveguard, these armoured skeletons that really kick your ass. I mean, yeah, give me them all day long. And of course, I'm a really big fan of Cuddles, also known as a Vargulf. Though the Vargeist itself, the Terrorgeist itself, Vargeist? Yeah, Vargeist are the flying things, of course. The Terrorgeist itself, I love it, but I don't really often find a place for it in my army, unfortunately. I should probably fix that, because the Terrorgeist is freaking awesome, really hard to kill, but just can't bring myself to use it. It's just too expensive. Yeah, I think that was it for Total War. Oh, the other one was how do you get the quest battles to trigger in campaign? That's a little bit difficult, but I can say that there is somebody in the Steam forums, I'll try and find it very quickly, there is somebody in the Steam forums who has made a guide, and it's correct, so you can actually use it. And if you go through to the walkthrough section, and you'll find the definitive source for Legendary Lord's quests, and this will actually answer your questions. It's by Kratos Serving, and I've tested it and it works, so you can use that to help you. There are actually a lot of really useful guides in Total War Warhammer. There are in Blood Bowl as well, but people don't really notice, and it is worth looking at. And the final question I had was, what was my favourite part of the map? And it depends entirely on which faction I'm playing. It was one of the main reasons I put this up as well. I really hate the Empire area in general, no matter who I'm playing as. If I'm the vampires, I don't like going this way. If I'm the humans, I don't like having to fight all these lands and take all these lands. I do really like the Badlands though. The Badlands in general are the best place. Yeah, all the Dwarf and Orc wars, great. They go on forever, but they're the best parts of the map, I think. I think the mountains in the top, the giant horn mountains, are quite important and interesting as well. I like the fact as well, of course, that the Chaos Dwarves are here, but they're not Chaos Dwarves in the game yet. And you do have the Ogre land down here as well, but we don't have the Ogres here either, so that's a shame. Troll country, yeah, so hopefully that will all be included later on, but I'm not sure. The wastes themselves, they really remind me of home. No, they're actually quite interesting. They're nice little. They're really different to the rest of the old world, and that makes them kind of interesting. But when you start in the area, it's kind of a trek to get from city to city, and it's really difficult to make use of the terrain and to make use of the map strategically. Anyway, that was it for Total War this week, so let's move on to Mordheim. Let's just enjoy some Mordheim for a second. I haven't played this in so long.
Not since the horrors of the Black Plague has our land seen such despair. Almost 2 millennia after Sigmar founded the Empire, the realm is fractured and broken. 3 rival factions claim the Imperial crown, Marienburg, Middenheim, and Reich.
Okay, I just wanted to hear his sultry voice. It's just something interesting. So, Mordheim.
Welcome to Mordheim, city of the damned.
Thank you, crazy guy who does the introductions. Right, so the main question I get from Mordheim actually is, what the hell is it? And Mordheim is basically a squad-based tactical game where you have between 5 and 10 units that you use to destroy your enemies. 5 and 10 units. And you battle on a map, you have to take useful resources, and in order to survive you need to take the gold, the wordstone, the gold in the game, to be able to continue to survive and to keep your suppliers happy. That's the basic concept of Mordheim. There are 6 warbands, and sorry for that, they're really excited to show themselves. There are 6 warbands in the game, and they seem to be the only 6 that are going to come, but they all are pretty well balanced. My personal favourite is the humans, though I do have a soft spot for the undead as well, as always. I just think the undead are way too overpowered. And you have the witch hunters, which are the team I was trying to think of, by the way, that matched with the Sisters of Sigmar to make up the Blood Bowl team in the second Q&A, or the first Q&A, second Q&A. The first Q&A I mentioned them, yeah. So the witch hunters, basically, they look for everything that is mutated and grotesque, and they try to destroy it. They dedicate their whole life to getting rid of things that are against them. Then you have the the human mercenaries. They are basically rejects from the army, rejects, etc., who have been overwhelmed by this need to take Wordstone, and they do travel into Middenheim and fight the other factions. Following on from that, thank you. Following on from that, you get the Sisters of Sigmar, which are basically religious fanatics who want to cleanse the area. Oh, he was quiet, isn't that interesting? And then you have the Cult of Possessed, which are basically Chaos Pact, and they run around causing all kinds of chaos, as you'd expect. Then, of course, you have Skaven, because no game is complete without Skaven, and they're the ones that are the most interesting to splat. I personally don't really like playing as Skaven, they don't really suit my style, but they're very good at collecting things, actually, and they are pretty good at swarming individuals if you are one of these people who are stupid enough to split up your faction. Skaven are pretty good at that, though I personally prefer them as enemies than as friends. And you have the undead, who are there just to be undead. Unfortunately, as far as I could tell at least, unfortunately when you kill something you don't get to raise the dead. It's the one game out of these games where raising the dead is not an option, which really sucks, because that's my favourite thing about the undead. But there we go. And the vampire is hugely overpowered. He causes fear, terror, and it's hard to hit him. He's also very good at fighting, so all kinds of problems. They all have... Sorry. They all have their captains, they all have their heroes, and they all have units that fight together. Thank you. There is a tutorial in the game, but to be honest, it sucks. You're best off just jumping in and seeing if you can figure it out, or playing it with somebody who knows what they're doing, and just going through the basic things. And basically that's it. If we just go onto the last... I haven't played Mordheim in ages, but if I just go onto the last campaign I was playing, just so we can see how it basically works. I'm going to do this as kind of a basic introduction. You can ask questions about it later on if you have them. If you haven't already played, then, well, it's just to give it a go. It's obvious that the developers have basically canned the idea. They're not doing anything to it anymore. But to be honest, I think it isn't awful as it is. It's worth just giving it a shot. Though there's a lot of camera issues and there's a lot of things that are really difficult to get used to. But you get your basic warband. My warband currently has quite a lot of pieces. I have too many. 4, 7, 4, 11. I have 11 pieces and quite a range. There's a Skaven guy on my Chaos team as well. I'll talk about things as you want to know them basically, but I just want to show you basically how it looks. And you get some pieces. They have a lot of stats. It's a little bit confusing at first, though you basically want to level them in specific ways. You can customize their inventory. You can customize their skills when they level up and their magic if they are magicians. And also you can change their name, the way they look, etc. There are some presets that are pretty good, quite a lot of them. Or you can change everything individually to make a really rainbow unicorn chaos faction leader. I'd highly recommend the latter. And the thing you got to do is you've got to keep giving your wordstone to the Smuggler's Den in the time limit in order to keep going. If you fail it 5 times, you fail, your warband fails in general. So your mission is to destroy the enemy and also collect wordstone. And the more wordstone you collect, the better upgrades you get, and it's one of those kind of games. So yeah, that's all I basically wanted to say about Mordheim, because the biggest question I get all the time is what the hell is it? So I want to answer that at least briefly. So I'm going to leave this one here. I do want to say very quickly that currently on my channel there are 4 competitions that I'm looking to set up, and I'm looking for interest. So if you are part of the Discord channel, then please do have a look at these competitions, see if they are of interest to you. If you'd like to take part, then let me know by reacting with a football emote, just so I know that there's enough players to get it going. One of them is Mordheim, one of them is Total War, and there are 2 new Blood Bowl competitions, so let me know. If you're not already part of my Discord and you want to be part of these Q&As, then I will put the link below, you can join me there. And hopefully next time I won't have a nice big shiny face. I'm in Russia and it's sunny, I don't know what's going on. The world's going mad, chaos are here. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, that's it for this Q&A. I'll see you again next time. Bye bye for now.